So remember that anytime you see this, like that 1/2 right there, like x to the 1/2 is just the square root of x. So to undo a 1/2 there, we can just raise it to the second power, because that's what would undo the square root of x. Also, you know, the opposite of 1/2 is 2/1. So this is really a square root of x, and this one is really a fourth root, or not of x, but of that argument. So square root of x plus 5, and this is really a fourth root of 5 minus 2x. We could rewrite it with those radicals, but this problem is actually a little bit easier to solve if you leave the fractional parts. But just like if I had a square root minus another square root equal to 0, I do want to square both sides to get rid of the square roots, but I can't do it when they're on the same side. I want to move this one to the other side by adding it. Right? So that's what I'm going to do right here, is I'm going to add this right here. I'm going to add it over here. So we end up with this. Okay, so now we can try to get rid of those. Remember, this is a radical, this is a square root, and this is a fourth root. Well, I could get rid of this 1/2 by raising everything over here to the second power. But if I do that on this side, this 2 isn't going to cancel out the 1/4. So I could do that, but there's maybe a more efficient way to do this. What if I consider getting rid of the 1/4? What number would get rid of 1/4? Well, that would be 4/1. So what if I raise both sides to the 4/1? So on this side, of course, these just cancel, and you're just left with 5 minus 2x. And on this side, the 1/2 here and the 4, they just multiply together. So what is half of 4? Well, it's just a 2. And so remember, anytime you have a binomial squared like this, some of us like to do this in the box. And so you're going to get x squared, 5x, 5x, and 25. So all of this stuff right here, I'm just going to continue this problem over here so I have more room. You're going to get x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25 when you expand this, and that's going to equal 5 minus 2x. Okay, so because we see this 2 right here, this is a quadratic. And to solve any quadratic, we want to get it equal to 0, and then we're either going to factor it or we're going to do the quadratic formula. So if I want to get this one equal to 0, I'm going to go ahead and combine these. And then I'm going to add 2x, and I'm going to subtract the 5, so I get x squared plus 12x plus 20. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and factor this. I'm going to use 2 and 10 to get it factored, and then I've got everything's plus. So one answer is -2, and one answer is -10. Now, one of these is going to be extraneous. So if you plug them into your calculator, you can see which one is which. If I start with the -2 plus 5, and I can raise it to the 1/2. I should put that in parentheses. Minus 5 minus 2 times -2 to the 1/4. So when I plugged in -2, it does work. It does give me 0. If I then try to plug in -10, I can just replace the -2's here. And you see that one does not work. So this one is extraneous.